Welcome into Mailbag. It's vacation season. You can tell because Garrett's out this time. I'm back. I'm here with Cliff this time, but the questions haven't slowed down at all, so let's jump right in. First one comes from @Makener1. Don't know how to say that. Which position has been upgraded or downgraded the most throughout the offseason so far?
I'd start with running back, actually. I love the Mark Ingram signing, and also I love the Justice Hills pick at running back in the draft. I love the explosiveness that he should bring, the contrast, and obviously Gus Edwards and Kenneth Dixon from last year, really at the end of the season, great 1-2 punch. Yeah. So Ravens want to run the football. They've got serious depth at that position.
Yeah, I'll point to wide receiver also in terms of an upgrade. I think what they've done there, I don't expect a lot more yardage, let's say, with Marquise Brown and Miles Boykin and Seth Roberts. I don't think that it's going to be gangbusters all of a sudden because I think they're going to run the ball a lot. But I do think they have added a lot more explosiveness. I mean, more than they had with John Brown and Michael Crabtree last year. I think Marquise Brown brings another dimension to this wide receiver core that they didn't have. And now for the question, the downgrade. Where have the Ravens kind of downgraded this offseason?
Well, you'd have to point an inside linebacker. I mean, C.J. Mosley, let's face it, made the Pro Bowl 4 years. Out of the 5 years he was here, the Ravens didn't want to lose him. Great player. They're looking for other guys to step up and think they could be okay, but obviously, to me, that's the most obvious place where you've got some questions.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you on that one. Next question comes from Gregory Webster Jr. The question is, I know it's only May, but how many wide receivers are likely to be on the Ravens' 53-man roster? I'd probably say 6. At the end of the day, that seems to be the magic number here, and I'll go through it. This is the quick synopsis, okay. All right, in May. It's still early.
Very early.
It's a quick synopsis. I think that probably your 4 guys that are almost locks would be Willie Snead, Marquise Brown, Miles Boykin, and I think Chris Moore. It would be tough to see. It would be tough to see him not on this team. Then for those last 2 spots, I think you have a really good competition right now between Jaleel Scott, Jordan Lastly, a Quincy Adeboyejo, an undrafted rookie like a Joe Horn Jr. who the Ravens just signed, or maybe Jalen Smith,
Absolutely.
who has a connection with Lamar. I think there's going to be a really good competition in there, and I know Jaleel and Jordan Lastly were 4th and 5th round picks last year, but after a year where they didn't do much as rookies, nothing's guaranteed. So I think a good battle. And Seth Roberts, I think as a veteran, he signed a 1-year deal. I wouldn't say it's a guarantee. He's going to have to fight for that spot as well.
Well, I think that's the most interesting thing to me is, yes, those last 2 spots, it'll be the 2 guys who play the best. And Eric DeCosta talked about not taking enough swings in the past at wide receiver. He took those swings, both with the draft and also some of the free agents they brought in. So with the quantity of guys they have now, I think there will be at least one surprise out of that wide receiver position who makes the 53-man roster, because those last 2 spots and at that position in general, they're looking for playmakers. And even though they've drafted a couple of guys who you know are going to be on the team, if there's a guy who keeps making plays during the preseason training camp, I think that person will end up on the roster.
All right, I like it. Last question, Cliff. @1112 Passion asks, who will be the voice of leadership on the offensive side of the ball?
Well, I think I'd have to say Lamar Jackson, even though I don't think that's his natural personality to be extremely vocal.
Pretty laid-back guy.
He
is.
is.
A chill dude.
He is. But his actions speak very loudly.
Well, and everybody knows he's the starting quarterback of the team,
Absolutely.
and it's been built around him.
Exactly. It goes by definition at that position that people expect you to be the leader.
Yeah.
And he has a type of personality and game that gets respect in the locker room. And this is his team now. He doesn't like to say that, but everything is towards
It's
Lamar.
a fact.
It is.
It's a fact.
It is, and I don't think he's going to run from that. I think he'll embrace it. He's still only 22 years old. I think the longer his career grows, he'll get even more comfortable in that role. But yes, this year, I think he takes over as the offensive voice.
I'd also add Marshall Yanda. I mean, he's been a leader in this team for a long time. If you're looking for that veteran voice, and especially for the offensive line, the running backs, all that, I think Marshall Yanda's the guy. And I think Mark Ingram, as a veteran, he's going to be a lead. So you don't have to have just one guy. There's going to be a lot of leaders on this team, offense and defense. But that's it for us today on Mailbag. As always, you can reach us at #RavensMailbag. Hit us up with those questions, and we'll be back with you next week.